things are seriously on another level at Tokyo Disneyland.
Hey, Hoochkins, it's Hooch O'Clock. If we haven't met yet, I'm a former Walt Disney World and Disneyland Paris cast member, and this creator has it absolutely right. There is a huge difference between Disney, or I should say domestic parks, and when it comes to overseas parks like Tokyo Disneyland. Now, as you can see, Disney tends to use fiberglass structures with minimal animation, and over at Tokyo, they go all out with multiple points of animation within their animatronics, and they flush them out. And yeah, you can look at, pictures of even their Tower of Terrors. As most of us know, this is what the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror or the Hollywood Tower of Terror looks like at the Disney MGM Hollywood Studios. With the stucco and all that, and when it first opened, it still is amazing. The theming, the way it looks, everything, it just really, there's such a wow factor. However, this is what the Tower of Terror looks like at Tokyo Disney Sea. It's not themed to the Twilight Zone. It has a different theming. However, this is what it looks like. And if let me see if I can find a picture straight on real quick. Here's a quick picture I found on the internet. You may want to pause this video real quick and you can zoom in, but look at all the detail compared to the Florida version. And there's a reason for this, okay? In Asian culture, they tend to build for centuries, where in the United States, we build for decades. And what that means is that we usually don't put the money into things today like we used to decades and decades and decades ago. Not saying that this is all real. I mean, it's not all like real brick and, whatever. It's still a facade. However, at the end of the day, what it comes down to, it's not the lack of interest or the ability of Walt Disney Imagineering. Walt Disney Imagineering does create everything. They are hired by the Oriental Land Company, which owns and operates Tokyo Disney Resort. As you know, they do all the work for Hong Kong, Shanghai, Disneyland, Walt Disney World, Disneyland Paris. So when one of those parks or resorts say, hey, we want a new attraction or a new show, they go to Imagineering and they say, okay, we need this, okay? And Imagineering will say, okay, what's important question? This is the most important question right here. That Imagineering goes, what's your budget? Okay? The budget is the difference between domestic U.S. parks and parks overseas. It's basically the budget. Real quick, does anyone know what this is? This is a conceptual drawing, by the way, but does anyone have a guess of what this is? Cool little water feature here. You can see how big it is. I don't believe Disney World has anything. It looks like an Epcot pavilion that you would have seen. This is Space Mountain, okay? This is Space Mountain at the Disneyland or the Tokyo Disneyland Resort in your Magic Kingdom. They are tearing down their old Space Mountain to build this new and improved Space Mountain. You can see the people on the ground to see how big it is. It's much bigger than the old one. Do you think Walt Disney World or Disneyland would tear something down like this and build something even better? Not looking at you, Horizons. Sorry, nope. Mission Space is not better than Horizons. I don't care what anybody says. No, tearing down Horizons was not worth what we got today out of Mission Space. So the difference is the money. Oriental Land Company is willing to pay Imagineering a lot more money to come up with some much better attractions. Also, what's kind of crazy is, if you notice, U.S. parks will always get ride technology after they debut at Tokyo, for the most part. Trackless ride system, unique offerings in general. Anyway, let me know what your opinion is about the difference between Walt Disney Imagineering when it comes to overseas parks versus domestic. Like I said, it's all about the cha-ching. And until next time, hooch on.